and you have now. Now we don't know anything. We just know, for example, okay, there are two types of questions. One is the body when on the meridian of the observer You can write down this question. This is my own question. So we do that after an altitude of meridian altitude of 10 degree, 15 minutes, bearing north. The same body had a meridian of 72 degrees. It's bearing north again. Bearing north. Find the latitude of the observer and the declination of the body. As I told you, because there was a question, we will do two types of questions, then we'll go to MMD and we'll solve a couple of MMD questions. I'll wait for you to finish because it's very important that you know what I'm going to do now. Finish writing?
8 minutes.
After this question, once I give you the idea of what it is, then I'll give you a note on circumpolar body.
This altitude is 10 degree 15 minutes and 72 degree 20 minutes.
Correct? Yeah, correct. But just to show the notes only, you have an idea what it is. That's a big problem beforehand. Okay, can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when I say that a meridian altitude of 10 degree bearing north, I am putting in various points. You tell me which is the correct point of the. All of these may not be correct. Only one position correct. Which do you think is the correct position? 10 degree 15 means bearing north. Which is the correct position? The top one, correct. Because it is from the body to the rational horizon. That's what I told in the beginning. This is the rational horizon. So after going round, then again it came a meridian, and that time it was 72 degrees. So now that means the body was here when it was on the meridian, and then again came again. So means it will be going like it will not set. We will see later what is the condition. Body will be going like this. This would be the or the declination circle of the body. And where would the pole be? Obviously, all bodies are going around the pole. So this is P. Let us and the lower one as X dash. This is called the upper meridian passage between the pole and the rational horizon. That is known as the lower meridian passage. So we know that X dash is equal to can xn minus X dash n. Yes.
सर बाकी का कॉन्सेप्ट समझ नहीं आया सर.
Yes, sir.
कौन सा क्या
हाँ
ये
सर.
जो
क्या समझे?
ये जो एक से
See, जब तुम्हारा एक बार इसका मेरिडियन में this is one, after that it again went round and came on X, so I mean the body will be going from like this only, it can't go second time again on the same meridian. That is why we say it is a circumpolar body. It will keep going around the pole, it will never set horizon at all times. That is why it is a circumpolar body. And when we know that X dash, that is the lower meridian passage altitude, and the altitude, meridian altitude upper meridian passage was xn, x dash will be equal to xn minus x dash. Okay? That we can say is 20 minutes minus 10 degree 52 62 degrees 05 minutes. Now polar distance, as you know, px is the polar distance, px dash also polar distance, because all bodies with a radius equal to the polar distance. So I can say therefore distance will be is equal to x divided by 2 is equal to 62 degree 05 divided by 2 is equal to 31 degree is equal to 31 degree 02.5 minutes. So that's the polar distance. But you know the declination. Declination is equal to 90 degree distance will be is equal to 58 degrees 10.5 minutes north. Why? Because now obviously you know the parallel to the equinoxial. So it means equinoxial would be like this. Declination is always parallel to the equatorial change. And I know that PQ is 90 degree, therefore the polar distance, or QX is the declination, which is 90 minus PX. That is, this is north of the observer. So this is the declination. Any doubt in anybody? This is
Sorry,
the X dash is the lower meridian altitude and lower meridian passage on the meridian. With the question with 10 degree 15 and then X is the upper meridian passage, which is 72 degree 20, because this that upper meridian passage, that is 72 degree 20. That is always on the same line. When you're drawing the principal meridian, will be on this line only. For example, suppose another body is having a circumpolar nahi hai, so we know that this body is going around the pole, and iska meridian passage altitude, in this case the altitude at meridian passage will be say 80 degrees south. As we have seen, no, how the naming of the altitude is depending on from the observer what is the direction. तो ये जो है बोलो
पोलर डिस्टेंस समझ नहीं आया कैसे, मतलब x
all bodies are going radius equal to polar distance. वो पता है ना तुमको? जैसे हम लोग PZX triangle में है, अगर ये suppose another body is there, ये PX, they are not polar distance. So इसमें what is the body doing? The body pole with the radius equal to the polar distance. Correct? But that is what we are seeing. पीछे में जो कर रहा है that we don't know, but ultimately क्या कर रहा है body? Body यहाँ rise कर रहा है, यहाँ फिर below the horizon घूम के वापस next day it will rise again. That is what the body is doing. So and that is are revolving around the pole with the radius equal to the pole. हटा दिया हम लोग, ये सब हटा दो जो नहीं चाहिए. So we are coming back to this. In this case, it is revolving around distance. So polar distance px and px dash. Px is equal to px dash. So I can write one more here. Px is equal to px dash is equal to polar distance. Therefore, x dash is equal to px plus px dash, correct? Is equals to 2 into polar distance, right or wrong? Therefore, polar distance is equal to xx dash divided by 2. That is why we said that polar distance x is divided by 2. It is not required to write, but this is just you understand. Directly you can write polar distance x divided by 2 because from the diagram, that px is the polar distance, px dash is also the polar distance, radius plus radius is equal to diameter. Diameter is xx dash, xn minus x dash n, वो मिल गया, you divide by 2 and you are getting the polar distance. प्रणव समझ में आ गया? तुमको डाउट था ना? तो दोबारा फंडा क्लियर हो जाएगा. So now we want the latitude. So let us see the latitude. After I will give you the note on this, I wanted so you get an idea what we are talking about. In other words, exam subject. So now latitude, what is latitude is equal to in the figure,
Q,
what would the
QZ.
latitude be? Q
NP.
QZ is equal to PN, correct? PN, because we have derived, no, that latitude PN is equal to, from the figure we can say, plus x dash n is equal to px dash x dash n, you know, is the altitude of the lower meridian passage. So 31 degree is plus 10 degree is equal to कितना आया 41 degree 17 point
लैटिट्यूड पीएन कैसे ले लिए?
वो तो पहले हम लोग वो first class only we said no, said no. So that means you have not attended the first class.
Altitude of pole is equal to latitude.
Yeah, latitude,
Okay, sir.
altitude of pole. Therefore, elevation of pole. Therefore, altitude of pole. ये तो एकदम पहले लिखी हम लोग. That's the first thing we said when you do PZX triangle. Is equal. I've done that. No, क्या कि नहीं ये derive?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तुम notes देखो मिलेगा. Revising, you know, because every time we cannot start new. जो पहले क्या हुआ है, especially in subject like this, you have to keep revising because so मिल गया तुमको. Latitude is north 41 degrees. So this is the declination. This is one answer, and this is the other answer. If you have derivation, we will go and do that because only mathematical derivation. इसमें कोई logic है नहीं. Just a mathematical derivation. That's why it is the full question mark on polar distance. You would find considered as a very lucky. ये जैसे ये full question
डाउट
mark.
था सर ये पहले का ये ZQ is equals to PN होता है ना सर?
Yeah, correct. See, I would do. पढ़ाई तो करते नहीं हो. That is the problem. Regularly you must study and you know. Otherwise, you will find that few 3 months more to study. बोले बेटा पढ़ाई क्या तो जाओ 3 महीना और बैठो और पढ़ के आ जाओ. See, we know that ये लिखो अभी because I already did. तुम्हारा notes में रहेगा ये. PQ is equal to ZN is equal to 90 degrees. Correct? Now that is that correct or not? From the pole, what is the equinoctial or equator?
Yes sir, 90 degree.
It is 90 degree at all times. Circle, so that automatically 90 degree radius. Now PQ is equal to Pz plus Zq. Zn is equal to Pz plus, therefore, thus Pz plus Zq is equal to Z plus Pn. अभी Pz कैंसिल करो तो क्या बचता है? ये कैंसिल हो गया, ये कैंसिल हो गया. Therefore, we can say Zq, Q or Qz, doesn't matter, is equal to Pn, or we can say latitude to altitude of the pole. ठीक है? जिसको बेसिक डाउट था पूर्व, you got it?
Yes, sir, got.
किसको था बेसिक डाउट? हाँ, अच्छा, हर्षित को था. Right. So now let us go and consider. We'll keep the see what circumpolar body is all about. You can write down a circumpolar body. A circumpolar body is a body which remains above at all times. It does not set. It does not now. I'll remove this particular here and P. इसको इधर करो. Now we can say that condition for P to be circumpolar. Number one, lat and deck. That means यहाँ पे north है, because if it was south, what would happen? If it was south, the body would have been here. So if it was south, the body would have been here. So question of circumpolar, ठीक है ना? So that means lat and deck has to be the same name. If they're different name, it will not set at all. It will not. Then what is the next condition is latitude plus declination latitude, number two, latitude plus declination should be greater than or equal to 90 degrees. Greater than or equal to. Because especially for the sun, when it is on the horizon also. So what is the latitude? We say that इसमें derive करने का कोशिश मत करो, unless you will. Just remember, lat plus dec should be greater than or equal to 90, because this is the latitude. This is the latitude. Equal to derive. Forget about the Pn is the latitude, and we say that ZQ. You don't try to just remember latitude plus declination greater than or equal to 90. Thus, if the meridian altitude of the body when it is above the pole. Above the pole, we say it is upper meridian, and when below the pole, lower meridian passage, the declination and latitude, declination body and latitude of observer can be, that is what it is. For a circumpolar body or a circumpolar body, this again you have to remember, the sign of the latitude, the same sign, will be the sign the lower meridian passage. Lower meridian, north meridian, in this case, the lower meridian north, but upper meridian passage can be south of the observer also. ऐसे भी हो सकता है. So if it is north and south, union passage में जो है वही है तुम्हारा sign of latitude and declination, because that is where it is. This cannot go anywhere. It has north of the observer, depending on the latitude and declination, north or south. Alternatively, if I show you bearing south change, then it would be, here also you will find that now यहाँ पे मैंने ड्रॉ कर दिया, और बड़ा कर दिया इसको, द principal vertical. Now you don't know anything, but you know that the lower, so here I will do one more. Say LMP instant, altitude at LMP was 20 rings south. Altitude at UMP was 70 degree bearing north. It means now when you directly, but that is so important. 20 degree bearing south means इधर आ गया. 70 degree means, because altitude is this one. No, altitude क्या है? Altitude तो ये है. This is bearing north south 20 degree. So where would now you complete the circle, because it will keep going around in this circle only. This would be the of the body. Where parallel equator can never cross. The equator will be like this. That means southern, and it is in the southern hemisphere, which means that the sign of the lower meridian passage. So in this case, just to do once more for you. हाँ बोलो.
1 मिनट अभी थोड़ा सा.
If I remove this here, I can say that, actually mark it as, this is X dash. Lower meridian passage you put as X dash. Generally that. So I can say that X dash X dash is equal to, now it will not XS minus XS minus X dash S. Is it correct? Anybody has doubt in this? Because now I am reversing it, because it is in the different sign. This is X dash. This is correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
तो ये जो है ये x dash s. अभी xs कितना है? Who can tell me? xs is equal to
सर 90 प्लस
90 plus 30 क्यों? वो तो 70 था ना, 20 हो जाएगा ना.
30 से
ये
20
जो
20
है, हाँ, or you can say is equal to 180 minus 180 minus altitude, upper UMP altitude, either way you can do, you can logic it, minus 70, 110, that is 90 plus 20, also is correct, is equal to 110, or xs dash, xx dash is equal to your xs is 110 minus 20 degree, 20 is equal to 90 degrees. Now I can delete all this, I hope. So therefore I say polar distance is equal to 90 minus x dash by 2 x 2 is equal to 45 degree. Therefore declination is equal to t minus polar distance is equal to 45 degree. That now direction I know it will be south because it is south of the, it is, once the LMP south है मतलब declination automatically south हो गया. Second, the declination is south of the equator, so it will be 45 degree south. Latitude PS is equal to P x dash S to, I know what is px dash, that's the polar distance, that is 45 question 20 is equal to 65 degree south. That's all. Understand the logic समझो, that's all.
सर ये XS 110 कैसे होगा सर?
अगर ये पूरा 7-9 ये तुम्हारा अगर ये 70 है तो ये कितना है?
20 होगा।
20 और 90, तो 90 plus 20 हो गया ना पूरा एक्सेस.
ओके, तो ऐसे कह सकते हैं सर पूरी 180 में ठीक. हां यस सर,
That also you can do, not a problem. That in fact better. Either way you do, whichever.
बस लैटिट्यूड और डेक्लिनेशन निकालना रहेगा इस तरह का क्वेश्चन.
बस नहीं, अभी और भी है which I will do from the question directly. अभी इतना है ना, we will do from the mm. एक है कि इसका altitude भी निकालना है. That what we will do. Latitude देखना आप लोगों को पता चल गया. Now let us see how to do your question bank, and then any doubt we can clear next time. आज तुम लोग का तो वो टाइम खा गया ना, कोई क्लास है दो सेकंड मिनट का ही न्यू बैच का.
इसमें भी एक्स्ट्रा क्लास हो रहा है सर.
हाँ, they also, because the 2 hours 2 is very less, no. A little bit actually I missed the one class on Wednesday because I had to go out, so that is compensatory class. Let me just pick up this one. कहाँ है question bank? हाँ, question bank मिल गया. Same question you will find going on repeated, you know. So once you do, तो अभी P1 का थोड़ा करके करो, start doing.
Circumpolar body PO.
हाँ, part A. एक है finding the okay, हाँ ये question I'll put up. इसमें क्या है? If you're lucky, you will get the full question. But if you're unlucky, you'll get as a question. तो ये मिला तो ये unlucky है because ये part question है. कभी that all depends on तुम लोग जिंदगी में कितना अच्छा काम किया है.
फिर तो पार्ट क्वेश्चन
collective goodness, remember that. हाँ ये भी हो जाएगा, no problem. देखो इसमें क्या है, ये ड्रॉ करो, ये खाली डायग्राम है, ये खेल पूरा डायग्राम का है, कुछ नहीं है. ये आ गया, ये आ गया. Now you don't know anything else, but you can name it definitely always, because a diagram without naming will not be accepted. Okay, 6427. तो मतलब Z क्यू, तो Q इधर आ गया, this will be Q, and it is south. Is ये आ गया. Direction 3947, तो यहाँ आ गया 3947. Oh, ये आ गया X. Now we don't know it is, but we know the condition. So we can write here, in this case we write, we know that the condition for a body to be circumpolar,
सर डेक्लिनेशन QX है ना सर, तो ये मतलब
है ना, तो आधा से ज्यादा होगा ना. QZ is 64, ऑटोमेटिकली जहां पे लगाया उधर ही होगा, राइट और रॉन्ग. Lat and deck, same name. So this is complied because both are complied to lat plus declination than or equal to, I'm not putting that, 90 degree. So in this case, lat plus deck is equal to 64 degree plus 39 degree 47. कैलकुलेट कर देखो कितना है, is equal to 14. 14, is it correct?
Yes, sir.
So that means it's great. So we can say complied. Therefore, body is circumpolar. Therefore, body circumpolar. अब ये मिल गया. So now you know one position is here. एक पोजीशन को मिल ही गया, तो अंदाज से एक जगह में दूसरा पोजीशन डाल दो and make this as x dash. Make this as, because you know that the body is circumpolar, you have derived that yes, it is meeting the condition for circumpolar. So ये x dash. Now join the circle and you are back to that same what we were thinking now. And इसका सेंटर में तुम, इसका सेंटर में P हो गया. Now we can say that x dash x, अच्छा, polar distance is equal to 90 minus is equal to decline 3947. So 50 degree 13 minutes. x dash. Well, this one, PS is equal to latitude 64 degree 27, which we already derived last time. Therefore, altitude lower meridian passage is equal to x dash s
PS minus PX dash.
px dash, yes, p s px dash, so मिल गया equal to p is, you know, latitude, p is, I know, equal to latitude is 64 degree 27 minutes minus calculated 50 degree 30 is equal to, अभी देखो कितना आता है 14 साउथ, नहीं, बेरिंग साउथ ऑफ द ऑब्जर्वर. ठीक है, ऑल्टर एलएम पे मिल गया सबको. Because if you're not going to say no, then I'm going to continue. Huh? If any problem, you let me know. That UMP is equal to XN 180 minus XS. XS is XX dash XX dash, correct, plus X dash S.
X dash, sir, polar distance by 2 से निकाल.
Correct. X is polar distance into 2. Polar distance into 2. 50 degree 13 minutes into 2 is equal to 100 degree minutes. Therefore, XS is equal to 100 degree 26 minutes plus your minutes is equal to 114 degree 40 minutes, and you at UMP.
Distance into 2 होगा कि divided by 2 होगा sir?
Into 2 ना, polar distance PPX, XX से double है ना. Altitude at UMP is equal to is equal to 180 minus XS. X is already calculated to 60
65
65 bearing north. That is all. These are the only two types of questions.
LMP और UMP देके latitude declination पूछेगा या तो latitude declination देके LMP UMP.
Yeah, diagram, you know that when the both are south, you know the LMP will be south. And diagram से Z से ऊपर है तो north हो गया, Z से नीचे है तो south हो गया. Either way you can use.
या तो latitude declination देके UMP LMP पूछेगा और या तो LMP UMP देके.
Correct. So, question bank, you'll find that ऐसा ही question है. There's nothing more to it. एक तो हम पहले क्या होगा? That's all. Whichever. हाँ बोलो.
ये फिगर एक बार
दिया है तो ZQ दिया है 64 तो मिल गया, WQE मिल गया, which is equinoctial, or for declination it becomes equinoctial, for latitude it becomes equator. So all projected on the celestial sphere, no? So you 39, so it is south, so it will be south of Q by 39. अगर तुम्हारा ZQ Z5 है और ये अगर 40 है तो you know this will be smaller, no? ZX will be smaller, accordingly you have to draw.
Sir, ZQ क्या था sir? ZQ latitude.
ZQ is the latitude,
Okay.
no? and QX is the
सर
declination.
Q और P के बीच से थोड़ा ऊपर करना है ना सर?
हाँ करेक्ट, रफली Q के नीचे करना है बस. 2Z is 65 degree, so this will be below Q, no, करके and then you know, now you know for the condition, यहाँ पे circle मार दो and then calculate with the mathematical, that is all.
ये नॉर्थ कैसे UMP?
Because north of Z ना, that means altitude is bearing north. वो तो मेरिडियन पैसिव में हम लोग वही करते हैं ना, when it is bearing north means you know that zenith distance will be opposite side, but altitude is bearing north of the observer. Here altitude is bearing south of the observer. Here body north of the observer. ठीक है? Right.
सर एक डिसाइड करते हैं कौन सा LMP होगा कौन सा UMP होगा.
जो between pole and rational horizon वो LMP है. के बीच में जो है वो LMP है, lower meridian passage. Homework to all questions on circumpolar body and disk on Monday. ठीक है? So Sunday का होमवर्क मिल गया तुमको, आज भी करो. आज तो और कोई क्लास नहीं. 7 to 8 questions, एक दो करने से you will find that all similar. और जो किया same pattern you follow एकदम तुम्हारा. Right? Can I remove the share now?
सर एक मिनट रुक जाइए सर. इससे पहले जो क्वेश्चन किया था उसमें 20 डिग्री और एक 39 डिग्री.
Bearing नहीं, altitude.
हाँ सॉरी ऑल्टीट्यूड. उसमें सर कैसे डिसाइड करें कौन सा LMP कौन सा UMP?
Not necessary. वो डायग्राम ड्रॉ करके पता चलेगा.
ओके सर.
Moment you draw the diagram, you will come to me.